1 minute to the forerunner. This is the 1 minute warning for the forerunner. Down through Lego Battalion into Little Capadue. That is the first forerunner now.
Nothing on the table. Nice into 15. Oh, and very late. Welcome back to Cortina d'Ampezzo in the Italian Dolomites and to the first race weekend on a brand new Olympic track built on the footprint of the track that hosted the Games here 70 years ago in 1956. Well, hello everybody, welcome back. Martin Haven and the entire IBSF TV crew. Delighted to be here in Cortina. Came here in the early 2000s on the old track and just so pleased for them to have this track here in the heart of the town, in the heart of sliding territory. We're getting ready for the first race of the Women's World Cup. So let's take a look at this track. It's a relatively short run down into the first corner. This left-hander known as Strias Witches. Then into Verzi. Try and avoid the tap there, particularly because you've got to get Cento right. It's a sort of two-pressure corner that leads into Primo Labyrinti. And that is a real time killer. Secondo e Treti Labyrinti, parts 2 and 3 of the labyrinth, and then into Belvedere and Lago Bandion. Little short shoot here with K2. Down Rettifilo, Antelau into Antelau corner itself, and Antelau Cristallo, the big two-corner combination from the previous track. 3 pressures in Cristallo, and into the lower part of the track. Tofano, Ampezzo, and then little right-hander Arrivo. Not the 5G corner it once was, but nevertheless, as it's uphill in that final section, it is going to take your time away, if not your breath. Well, not just built on the footprint of the original track, but very much capturing the spirit of the original. And as we've seen from our men's race earlier today, it is technical, it is very easy to give speed away. 16 corners, at least 16 places, you can hemorrhage time. The graveyard of time, well, it's everywhere between the start and finish line, particularly because, of course, it's a brand new track and so few athletes really have knowledge of it. Even the Italians are struggling to unlock its secrets. So everybody is learning as fast as they can, because in February, when we return, it will be the big one. So for Valentina Margaglio, all of Italy, all of Cortina especially, 70 years on from their first hosting, the biggest break of any Olympic venue between hosting a Games and hosting for a second time. In the winter, that is. I think London 48 to 2012 was getting that way as well. So our start draw starts with Janine Flock and Kimberly Bos of the Netherlands and Austria respectively. Hannah Neise, the Olympic champion, will go off third. Her parents have travelled down to enjoy watching the racing here. And we have a field of 33 starters, of whom the fastest 25 will go through. One debutante as well, a 17-year-old from Latvia, but we'll get to her in a moment. Getting the season underway, the pre-Olympic race here in Cortina. World Cup number 1, Janine Flock, her 113th World Cup start. 3-time World Cup champion. She won the last 3 World Cups of last season to take the Crystal Globe for a 3rd time. And down out of Cento into Primo Labyrinti. One of the key transitions on the track. Masters that nicely. Good exit from part 1 to part 2 of the labyrinth. And then from here, a short shoot into the left-hand at Belvedere. And then the pressure and a bit of Bandion. Nice. From K2, down the Rettifilo, long skid into Antelau. Antelau leads straight onto Cristallo. 3 pressures for the skeleton sliders. She manages that well. Down into Tofano, named after the mountains opposite the track. Ampezzo, the basin in which Cortina sits. Ad Arrivo, the final corner. We have a new start record, we have a new track record, because this is the first race run of the new track. 5:09 the start time, 58:46 the track record. Well, this is not like St. It won't be a new track next year with new track records. We'll have new Olympic start and track records, but next season the track will be in the same place and the walls will be in the same place. Not nice exit, but a long, time-consuming skid down the straight there as she headed into Belvedere and away there, rather from Cristallo down into Tofano. So not a perfect run from Janine Flock, but she gets us underway. Now, Kimberly Boss, our world champion from Lake Placid last year, Olympic bronze medalist in Beijing. 5:06 new start record. And Boss will be among the quicker getaways. Nice from Verzi into Cento. It's an awkward transition, and Cento into Primo Labyrinthi. She didn't get that right. She was a little late onto the first corner of the labyrinth. Came off hard, hit the wall a little. 700s up, but not the same speed. That's on the left-hand side. Second speed to Janine Flock. Still not as quick as the Austrian. On a Kristen Bromley sled. Kristen is her coach. 200s back. Can she find speed at the bottom? Uphill now, through the final couple of corners. Out of Ampezzo and into Arrivo. 2/10 back, 58.66.
First race in the season, not bad. Hello.
Well, decent start from Kimberly Boss. Little tricky transition between Verzi and Cento. Cento late into the labyrinth. And further down here as well, trying to make up time.
Hi, Ilko, we miss you, Velar.
So next up, our reigning Olympic champion, 25-year-old Hanne Neise of Germany, where Janine Flock has 113 World Cup starts now, and Kimberly Boss 67. This is Hanne Neise's 37th. Team gold in Winterberg in the World Championships in 2024, Olympic champion 2022, 5:07. So starting strongly, Hanne Neise. Her parents also here on a pre-Olympic adventure. They found accommodation for this week and for the games, some 35 kilometers out of town. Good looking run so far. Speed not quite where Janine Flock's was, but 1200s up. That should come down then. No, so still not quite as quick. 70.8 compared to 71.4 of Flock, but she's ahead on the time. 2200s, continuing to build her advantage. She'll have a new track record at the bottom. Hanne Neise leading after the end of the first run, or leading after her first run, 58.07. So leading by 39 hundredths over Janine Flock. Well, Janine Flock's run was not clean. Hanne Neise's was very much cleaner. Had two German sliders in the top six. 4th and 6th position for Lukas Neidegger and Axel Jung in the men's race. Hanne Neise. And look at the relaxed way the body just moves with the sled. There's no tension, no fighting the sled. Your body has to act as a damper. So you almost have to be like a bag of potatoes on it, just moving with it rather than trying to fight it. So thumbs up from the Olympic champion. Next up, Nicole Silveira. What a season this woman had last year. Got married during the summer as well. World Cup best, 2 bronze medals, the season opening weekend in Pyeongchang and in St. Moritz as well. Was never away from the top 6. 5:05 new start record. So the Brazilian is absolutely in top starting form, but a mistake from Verzi to Cento. Hard hit there, and that deficit is going to multiply. She comes legs akimbo and battling hard through the labyrinth. Down towards Belvedere and Bandion. Hemorrhaging time after that unfortunate run through the first corners. Down from K2 into Antelau. Climbing high there. It's a short, sharp corner. Cristallo, the big free pressure. She hits the wall on the exit as well. She's trying to let the sled fly. Another Bromley slider. Try not to control the sled too much with a Bromley. Across the line, 58.96. So she's 3/10 behind Kimberly Voss. 5/10 behind Janine Flock. A lot to do in Heat 2. Well, here, very early on, that's Verzi into Cento. She hits the wall before she gets the take-on of Cento. This is out of Primo Labyrinthi, fighting it. It goes one way, then the other. And again here, this is out of Bandion, out of Cristallo. Starting to climb the hill into Tofano. Being coached here by Mimi Reniva. Amelia Coltman. A little bit of snow added to the red arrows on the helmet of the British slider. Former tennis player. Of course, the natural way into ice sliding sports. There must have been days where she thought, why didn't I stay with a nice warm game like tennis? 20th World Cup and a 5 dead start record. So the start record being chiseled away, slider by slider. Entertaining first race from the men this morning. Very hard to read where the speed is coming and going on this track if you don't have the clock. 900s up, holding her advantage over the Olympic champion. Amelia Coltman in her 3rd season as a full-time Team GB World Cup slider. Little variation of line there through Cristallo. She's dropping away lower down. She had a very good top section of the track. Now, is this a runner selection or is she just a little astray on the steers? We saw a tapping between Ampezzo and Arrivo. 4500s back, 58.52. The more overall experience the slider has, the quicker they will be able to adapt to conditions changing, the quicker they'll learn. These sliders have been here for 2 weeks, sliding every other day, one day bobsleigh, one day skeleton, different weather conditions. Rained all last week pretty much. It's been cold and crisp this week, snowed yesterday, snow this morning. The track has been a different beast every day. And the more experience you have, the more you feel, oh, I know where this is going. So Amelia, to a degree, at a deficit there in terms of experience. Certainly to a couple of our top sliders, not least of whom is Jackie Pfeifer, Jacqueline Lurling as was. 70th World Cup start for her, so 50 more in terms of experience than Amelia Coltman. Olympic silver medalist from Pyeongchang 2018. Got dropped out of the German team for not having a great start a couple of times. 5:05. Wow. Jackie Pfeifer. Oh, big skid. That's going to cost her. Now, can she hang on? Hannah Neise, her teammate, is the leader. She was 200s up, 100th up, but better speed than anybody. Janine Flock was quickest for most of the track. Hannah Neise had the top speed at the bottom. And Jackie Pfeifer is riding this track superbly. Long, lean, relaxed on the sled. Head up a little there as she looks down into the final couple of corners. Best speed of all, quicker than Hannah Neise. New track record on the way. It is a 57.99. So the first Sub 58 competition run for women's skeleton. Yes! The body language not hard to read. .30 years old, Jackie Pfeifer. Will Cortina be her final games? Little tap and a steer there. So that could have been a quicker run. Maybe a 10th, maybe more. Good run down here, though. You don't get many straighter. Dropping down into Tofana.
Schöne Grüße nach Hause.
Now then, Kim Marmons of Belgium. 69th World Cup start for her. Former soccer player. Gold medalist in Altenburg, December 2024. And had a strong season last year. Coached by Richard Bromley and Mimi Reniva. Working with the Belgian-Brazilian duo. 1500s up on the leader from 1300s up at the start. A shattering start record from Lil Kim. 600s in it. She hasn't got the speed of the leaders, so she's going to drop behind. How far back? This should be third at the line. 800s back is Hannah Neise. Fourth best speed. Endless now to get to the line when you feel the speed ebbing away. 2400s back, 58.23.
Solid.
Really solid effort. Phenomenal starting. 1300s quicker than Jackie Pfeifer. New start record. Couldn't hold the speed all the way down. But a good first run. These athletes are starting to feel the pace now. High there out of Primo Labyrinthi. So Verzi Cento centering a little late. Little late there as well. She handled it nicely.
It's making it really interesting.
She's off to get weighed. Lots of runs over the last couple of weeks for these sliders. Next up, Tabby Stoecker from Great Britain. Her birthday on Monday, 24-year-old, former trapeze artist. 17th World Cup start. Beginning of her third full season. A 482! Goodness me, what a start. Astonishing speed at the start from Tabby Stoecker. It's a little wild up top. 2800s is the lead though. 2/10. Speed's not there. She's still got 1,000 meters to get to the line almost. Dropping down through K2 into Antelau. The lead will have gone by the end of Cristallo. Decent exit. Straight enough through the chicane and down into Tofana. High in Ampezzo. Comes out hard, flops uphill, and that's going to cost her hard. 58.31. From 2800s up to 3200s behind. A really electrifying start. 482 getaway from Tabby Stoecker. And still ahead of Janine Flock and her teammate Amelia Coltman. Ahead of Kimberly Boss, ahead of Nicole Silveira. And a tap on the wall as well. That left-hand groove is throwing sliders quite violently sideways. Untidy top section of the track.
Hi, Alessia. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Our world champion in Samaritz 2023 is next up. Susanne Kreher of Germany. Susanne, 26 years old. A world champion, but not yet a World Cup race winner. 4 silver medals and a bronze. Her best results. Well, the track record is 4:82. Where's she going to be? 5:04. So a whisker quicker than Jackie Pfeifer, her teammate. Darta Neimane starting 5:07. Neise in second place, behind Pfeifer. Now, the German men looked like they were struggling in the first heat, but their runs and their runner choice came good in the second. Schneider ended up 4th, Axel Jung 6th. Axel having been 11th in the first heat. Only the 8th best run at the moment, though, off the 4th start time. So he's going to put her behind Kimberly Boss and just ahead of Nicole Silveira. How close to Boss? She is just ahead of her by 0.06 of a second. Well, it's not a German 1-2-3. Kind of slightly is. Susanne Kreher in 7th. Kim Marmans in 3rd, but she did start off in the German programme down in Berchtesgaden. Only slid at a senior level for Belgium. Susanne Kreher, 2023 world champion, with a little more to produce in the second heat. Now, what we saw from the men's competition this morning is the track held its pace really well throughout all of the runs of both heats. So there is plenty of opportunity to improve. Freya Tarbit, like Tabby Stoecker, started 2 seasons ago, so this also her 17th World Cup. Oh, a little bit of wriggling down into Strias, the first corner. Verzi, she's got it back on track now into Cento. A little late on the exit, that's going to send her high. She has to work hard in Primo Labyrinthi. And she's gone into the red. Off a 4:97 start, another quick getaway. 500's back. Little skid down the straight into Antelau. High on the entry into Cristallo, quite a lot of wave there, and she hits on the way down through the chicane to Tofana. She's scrabbling into the left-hander there. Now she's climbing steeply through Ampezzo. And again, that hard exit from Ampezzo going to cost her at the line, 58.71. And these are runs from everybody. You can see it, even the best, where you are still trying to figure out the track. Because the race day ice is different from the last time they saw it in training a couple of evenings ago. The track has been superbly prepared. There is construction going on right beside the athlete, literally right beside the start area. Half of the start area has been built during the course of this week.
Sending you lots of love.
Part of the finish area as well. It is all still ongoing, and yet the track workers have kept the ice in impeccable condition. Next up, World Championship bronze medalist, silver medalist, I beg your pardon, Mystique Ro. She's also the team gold medalist in the World Championships in Lake Placid. Start record is 4:82. It's a 4:92 from Mystique. A little tap from Strias into Verzi, and Cento sending a late through the labyrinth as well. Was 1900s up. I was going to say she'll be lucky if it's in single digits. It's not. It's a big deficit already. And all of that scrambling through the opening few corners robs you of speed you cannot build. Only the 11th best speed. She's the lowest speed of anybody so far. She's the 11th athlete on the wrong side there, coming into Tofana. Climbing through Ampezzo. From 1900s up, she's 1.4 seconds back with a 59.37. Well, that is the first run outside the 58s, and it's a long way outside the 58s. She'll be very disappointed with that one. That's one that came back to her from the first week of training. Here into Primo Labyrinthi, look how she steers hard to avoid climbing into the woodwork, but that just leaves her, first of all, burning energy with the steer, and then hitting the wall and skidding. Down here as well, going away from Cristallo. On the wrong side, hits the wall going into Tofana. So lots to do for Mystique Ro. Well, Jackie Pfeifer, Hannah Neise and Kim Meilmans, the top three. 12th of our 33 starters, Xiao Dan into the second third of the field with a 22-year-old from China. Still only 22. This is a 29th World Cup, and again spat sideways out of that groove. It was happening with the men. Surprised that the jury haven't insisted that the groove got cut again during the lunch break, because everybody that starts in that left-hand groove, as the athletes see it, gets spat out sideways. It was a good strong start, 496, but she's already in the red. And this, I feel, may go the same way as Mystique Ro's run. The deficit is going to grow out to 1800s, but she's got much better speed than the American. Third quickest sled. Third best speed for Xiao Dan. In 8th place, though, still losing time. And the speed's gone as well. Only the 9th best speed. Yin Cheng of China finished in the bronze medal position this morning after leading the men's race after the first heat. And a 58.71. Leaves her 72 hundredths back. Fastest run, a 57.99 for Jackie Pfeifer. In the left groove. Oh, sled already, yeah, as soon as you get to the end of the groove, there's just something with the way it's cut that just bunks the sled over to the right-hand side. So everyone who's starting in that left-hand groove say, well, why do they? Well, because if you start in a right-hand side, you're running sort of straddling the left-hand groove, and that's uncomfortable. Next up for the Czech Republic is Anna Fernstedt. 62nd World Cup start for Anna, and she did start in the German program, slid in the World Cup for a couple of seasons as a German athlete. World Championship bronze medal in Lake Placid. What a race that was for the girl from Czechia. Sliding with diabetes, which was undiagnosed until 2 or 3 years ago. Being able to control that has really transformed her life and also her athletic life. Second best speed from Anna Fernstedt. Not a bad looking run at all. 29 hundredths back. 13th at the start, up to 10th place on the splits. Xiao Dan in 9th, Kimberly Boss in 8th. How close is she going to get? Top 5 speed, maybe not quite as quick as Xiao Dan, but she's overhauled Xiao and Kimberly Boss she ties with. So we have a dead heat for 8, Anna Fernstedt and Kimberly Boss, and for 10th, Xiao Dan and Freya Tarbit. Off a 5.12, the 13th best start. She comes down 8th fastest. Not just working on her medicine and her body, but working on her own sled as well. Anna Fernstedt from Czechia. And look at the minimal correction there. She comes through the chicane into Tofana. Big smile on her face, as always.
Track 3 for Hallie Clarke.
So, Hallie Clarke, 20th World Cup for the 21-year-old now from Canada. 2024 World Champion in Women's Skeleton in St. Moritz. Started her career first year in the World Cup as an American slider. She has dual nationality and now sliding for Canada once more. A lot of rotation there in Verzi. Oh, a little late flop in the labyrinth. Belvedere, Bandion. Through K2. She's going to try and build speed down through Antelau and Cristallo. Here we are on the straight down to Antelau. Oh, late. Top 5 speed, but from the 8th best start, she's drifting away. 2500s back in 6th position. Only the 8th best speed. She's going to struggle to stay with Fernstedt and Boss. No, she hangs on ahead of Amelia Coltman. Top 6 run, but 4900s back. Going to be interesting in the second heat to see how close some of the sliders are to their first run times.
A little crazy, but what are you going to do?
You can tell it's an Olympic year. Eric Nielsen back with the Canadian team, helping out with the coaching. All sorts of extra bodies on hand to help the athletes prepare for the games. Just again, a couple of little high exits, and that energy, when you flop off the corner, it sucks the speed out of the sled. So 14 down of 33 as we get to Germany's Corinna Leipold. The 29-year-old in only her 7th World Cup start. Made a debut in Pyeongchang at the beginning of last year. Didn't do the entire season. World Cup best was just under 12 months ago, actually. In December 24, she finished in 8th place in Altenburg. 5 dead at the start. Even on this track, starts don't win gold medals, drives do. And actually, I think perhaps this track, we always talk about places like Lake Placid and Altenburg being really important drivers' tracks. I think this is going to turn into one of those tracks where, as the golden quote has it, easy to get down, hard to get down fast. And Corinna, from the 6th best start, out to 12th on the splits. 4800s back. This is leaving her top 6, top 8 maybe. She's going to lose more time further down. Prediction of 13th place, and so it is. 58.79, 8 tenths behind her teammate, the leader, Jackie Pfeifer. She's ahead of Nicole Silveira of Brazil and Mystique Ro of the USA. In currently 13th position. Don't forget, with the women's race, as with the men's, the top 25 go through into Heat 2 of our 33 starters. I think she did almost every available training run, Corinna Leipold. Young slider with a little less experience overall than her teammates, and needing that run repetition to try and find the best way down this track. And judging from her face and her body language, that's still eluding her. Now, Jane Channel, perhaps on the other end of the experience scale. Corinna Leipold, 7th World Cup start. This is Jane's 79th World Cup start. From North Vancouver, her home track is Whistler. Jane with a wealth of knowledge and experience, but again, she gets kicked right out of that left groove, down into Strias. Clean through Verzi, little toe steer going into Cento. Take that if it gives you the exit you want, and she's pretty clean through the first corner of the labyrinth. Out of Belvedere into Lago Bandion. Dropping through K2. Little knee steer. Heel came up. Antelau whipping off there late into Cristallo, and that'll give a big pressure through the chicane into Tofana. 15th best speed out of 16 sleds, only Mystique Ro with less speed on the ice. And she is in 15th place ahead of the American, 59.01, so she's over a second back. Off a 4.99 start, sixth best start, but only 15th at the end of the run. And the first 3 or 4 corners looked relatively tidy. The little toe steer, this is the little lower down, well, that knee went in. This is all costing time. And the late flop.
Run 1, let's go run 2.
Well, at the moment, she and Mystique Ro at the tail of the field. Julia Erlacher from Austria, 25 years old, 12th World Cup start, made her debut in Whistler in November 2022, and has done much of the last couple of seasons, but not all. 4.93, 4th fastest start. That's a very encouraging getaway from the young Austrian. Teammate Sami Meyer, silver medal in the men's race this morning, and a big skid and a tap. And there goes the speed. From 1400s up, she'll probably be the better part, I was going to say, of 2/10 down, only 800s down, but look at the speed on the left. Second slowest sled so far. So she's in free fall and not in a good way, 3500s back. And she'll be doing well to contain the damage to only a second behind the leader. Offline into Tofana. Big double pressure, big hit as well, climbing uphill now. Rubbing the speed off all the way. Really untidy run, unfortunately, for Julia Erlacher. 59.32, 1.33 seconds back. So she has Mystique Ro behind her. Mystique might be worrying a little about making the second heat. Only one of the American men did make the second heat. And that was Austin Florian with 2 start records, but look at this. Came off late, sideways, big skid and a tap, skidding here as well. She's still quite a slight athlete. Makes it hard to maintain that velocity if you're hitting and tapping. A big smile on her face. For Italy, Valentina Margaglio. Turned 32 on Sunday. 3rd overall in the World Cup 2 years ago. 16th overall in the World Cup last season. Not the progress the Italians wanted to see. 4.94, she can still start a sled. But with her teammates, Tia Gaspari was the best placed of those in 10th. And they didn't, any of them, look happy with their runs. Valentina has had that look of disappointment and perplexion on her face all of last year. And even worse news for the Italian team, Alessia Crippa has had to pull out of the season with a severe muscle injury, and it seems unlikely that she will be back in time for the race of her life, the Olympic Games on a home track. So really sad to hear that over the last couple of days from Alessia Crippa. Valentina Margaglio is not going to trouble the medals today. 16th at the bottom, only Julia Erlacher and Mystique Ro behind her. And the faces of the coaches say it all. Caleb Smith back with the Italians. Caleb runs a small winery. He's a highly educated wine expert, and he is loving his time in this area of Italy, in the Dolomites. But not loving their performance on the track. The Italians are struggling for pace. And again, you can just see the errors, the skids, the slides, the taps. And these are the athletes who have most runs on the track. Next up, from Italy, but representing the USA, which is her home country. She happens to live in Italy, is Air Force Captain Kellie Curtis. Kellie became a mum a couple of years ago, another sliding mother. Ooh, little tap, 2 or 3 taps in the early corners. From Cento into Primo Labyrinthi, rotates hard in the middle of the corner as well. Very scrappy top section from Kellie Curtis. 5:03, the 11th best start. Bronze medal in Lake Placid in December 2022. Her last World Cup before, last World Cup season before giving birth. And again, like Mystique Ro, struggling for pace here. Mystique started 4:92. Kellie finishes 2 spots ahead of her. Not the result Marta Andzane was hoping for. 59.14, 200s behind Valentina Margaglio. Well, here into Primo Labyrinthi. She knows it's going up high. She has to take a really big steer on, so that cuts the ice. Then she comes down. She's not coming off in a straight line. She's steering it hard off, has to contain that. And again here, a little late on, a little late off. Yep. Lots of that going on over the last few weeks. For China, Li Yuxi. 25th World Cup start for Li. 27 years of age, made her debut back in 2021 in Innsbruck, where we go next week. Best result November 2023 in Beijing. Oh, and again, another left groove going hard right. Even if you don't hit the wall, you're still having to steer and scramble the sled to get it away from that short wall on the right-hand side and giving away vital speed before you've even got to a turn. Through the labyrinth, plummeting down. 6th best start, only 16th before we get to the midway point on the track. Li Yuxi, our 20th slider. She's not going to have many behind her at the moment. Finding a little bit more composure, lower down. Vying with Kellie Curtis for 17th place, 17th best speed. I think the American was a whisker quicker. Where's she going to be at the line? Yep, behind Curtis. 300s behind the American. So Li starting 4:96, 900s quicker than Kellie Curtis, and coming down 59.17, 300s behind her. So just one fractional error more, or bigger. Not too bad, the exit, but drifting a little left and then having to correct it. Sled trying to break away underneath her. They have the smallest contact patch they can get away with, reduces the drag, and the problem is it also reduces the steering. So 20 sleds down, 13 still to go. The fastest 25 will go into our second and deciding heat here in Cortina. 8th World Cup start for Austria's young Anja Unterscheider. Anja just 22, made a debut in La Plana, the beginning of the 23-24 season. The former climber. Well, she'll enjoy Cortina 360. It's a 4-story free climbing building just at the bottom of the track. Oh! Uncomfortable opening to the run. Labyrinth not helping her out. Out of Belvedere, through Bandion, and down to K2. Onto the straight, down to Antelau. And swapping corners into Cristallo. 21st place. Speed isn't there either. It's not too bad at the bottom. If she can keep it clean here, she could pick off a couple at the tail of the field, and she does, up to 19th, ahead of her teammate Julia Erlacher. So she's 19th, Julia Erlacher 20th, Mystique Ro 21st. It's possible that might be enough to get her through into the second heat. It's equally possible it might not. Again, untidy right at the top of the track where the speed is the lowest. And the irony here is you think, okay, mistakes in a fast corner are really going to cost you. But actually, mistakes in slow corners cost you much more relative to your rivals. There she is, Anja Unterscheider, one of our younger athletes. Next up, Sara Roderick. 17th World Cup race for Sara. Made her debut in Innsbruck in January 2021. Hasn't been a regular part of the World Cup team until the last couple of seasons. She was 9th in Altenburg in March last year. So she can drive a driver's track. Little height in Primo Labyrinthi, cost her a tap and a skid. Level with the leader, and now slipping behind Jacqueline Pfeifer. Only a 17th World Cup race, so although she's been sliding for a few years, not at the top flight. Giving away several seasons of knowledge to the current leader. A little left going into Tofana. 19th place, 20th on the splits, ahead of Anja Unterscheider. Is she going to split the Austrians? She does. Splits the Austrians. 500s behind Anja Unterscheider and 300s ahead of Julia Erlacher. Well, Sara will be joining me in the booth later on today, this evening, in fact, for the team race. And actually, everybody is so desperate to learn this track, I suspect she might be pretty quiet because she'll be watching all of this, watching what everybody else is doing and digesting it.
Hi, fam. I love you.
Yeah, what am I, chopped liver? 23rd of our 33 starters. Welcome back, Kendall Wesenberg. 1,016 days since her last World Cup start. She gets to World Cup start number 52. Raced in North America's Cup last year, returning from surgery. Her last World Cup race in February 2023. It's now November 2025. It's a long time away. Great to see her back in the US program. Fought her way back to fitness, through North America's Cup, got her racing sea legs back under her, and earned her place in the national trials. So Kendall starting 5.20. Let's see what she can make of this lower down. Head buried, you heard the chin of the helmet scraping on the ice. 12th best speed. She's got a good fluid style, 19th off the 22nd best start. 900s faster than teammate Sara Roderick. So she is in 19th place. Anja Unterscheider 20th, Sara Roderick 21st, Julia Erlacher 22nd, and the USA's Mystique Ro 23rd of 23 sleds.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back, Kendall. Well, here again, late exit, hard impact with the wall from Verzi into Cento, taking away that vital speed. Another late exit from the labyrinth, skid and a tap. Weighing her sled, weighing herself before they head back up for Heat 2. Starter number 24 is another of our youngsters, 20-year-old Sara Schmied from Switzerland. She too made her debut in La Plagne at the beginning of the year 2 seasons ago. It's only her 15th World Cup start, so hasn't done 2 entire seasons yet. Under 20 junior world champion. Sara Schmied's a huge skid, and that is going to bury her time. A 4.97 is an excellent start for a 20-year-old athlete. But she has gone from 800s up at the start to 3500s back. This will be close to 6/10, 8/10 back. Wow, catastrophic lack of speed. One error. And this is what it's going to be about in the games. One run like that, you have, even if it's your first, you have nowhere to recover. 59.86. Very disappointing run for Sara Schmied. 9th best at the start, 24th out of 24 at the bottom. And she's half a second slower, 6/10 slower than Mystique Ro. And we know where it happened. So again, out of Verzi, tap, gets bounced away. So she's in the bottom of the corner when she should be climbing onto it, and gets thrown sideways out of Cento. And it's all she can do to try and get the thing squared up before Primo Labyrinthi. And even then, the sled is absolutely not obeying her beck and call. Now, does she make the second heat? There'll be a few who have a chance of getting ahead of her. Youth Olympic silver medalist Darta Neimane from Latvia, just 18, 3rd World Cup. She's the under-20 junior European champion as well, Darta. So she's got a good record of getting in amongst the medals. Made a World Cup debut in January this year in St. Moritz. This is not a bad looking run for such a new slider. 4.98 start, so on the fringes of the top 10 in terms of starting. This could be a top 20 run. She can just control the last 2 or 3 corners, particularly the uphill sections now. Keeping her form. 21st best speed. It's going to be close. Ahead of Kendall tied with Kendall Wesenberg. That's a very good 3rd World Cup start for Darta Neimane. Well, well, well. We've got a couple of bright young Latvian hopes. With Darta in the women's team and Emils in the men's team. The 18-year-old and the 19-year-old. This is the future of the Latvian skeleton program. And only her 3rd World Cup race. That was impressive stuff. So next up for Italy, Alessandra Fumagalli. And again, sending best wishes to Alessia Kripa. Just a dreadful time to get injured at the beginning of any season. The beginning of an Olympic season doubly so. With the home Olympics, unbelievably unfortunate. So what can Alessandra Fumagalli produced? Well, a 4.95 start. 7th best in the field. We have got some epic starters in this women's program. Big steer there to avoid the skid, which is okay if it does avoid the skid. She's gone from 1600s up to 100th behind Jackie Pfeifer. Pfeifer kept her speed alive all the way down the track. And the second intermediate speed in the labyrinth. She was quickest all the way down. The bad-looking run so far. She knows what she's doing. It's just not quite as controlled as it needs to be. Italy's number 2 across the line in 14th place. And she is the best Italian. Teammate Alessandra, Valentina Margaglio, rather, is, what's that, 31 hundredths behind her. Well, it is about perfecting their runs and ironing out the errors. And that wasn't a great primo labyrinthi.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Ciao, Alia.
Ciao, Ali, indeed. I'm sure it feels like just endless repetition here, particularly for the Italians. They haven't just been here for the last 2 weeks. They've been here for many before that as well. Next up from Switzerland, Julia Simchen, 23 years old, 16th World Cup start for her. Made a debut in La Plan at the beginning of last season, as so many of our youngsters did. 20th in Sigulda in December of 2024. We go to Sigulda in December 2025 as well. It'll be the final race before Christmas. Nice little trip to Mr. Biscuits to get some Christmas gifts. 5:22, other biscuiteries are available, just not as nice. Julia Simchen, 27th at the start. She's the 27th slider, trying to work her way ahead of Sara Schmied of Switzerland. She needs to jump ahead of Mystique Ro. Mystique Ro at the moment on the bubble in 25th. 24th best speed for Julia. Not going to get there. 27th, she's drifting away. No second run for Julia Simchen, and that mistake was the final nail. 59.86. Just not enough speed in the tank at the bottom to overhaul Sara Schmied and Mystique Ro. She ties with Sara. So 2 Swiss sliders on exactly the same time. Now, did that happen in their national selection trials? I severely doubt it, but Sara Schmied and Julia Simchen, not even 100th of a second between them. And yet, if you overlaid their 2 runs, they would look utterly, utterly different. All right. No second heats for Julia this time. There's her teammate Sara. Next up, Nanna Johansson. Her brother had a really good day in the men's competition. So Nanna Vestergaard Johansson, former swimmer, started sliding in 2020. 4th in the Youth Olympics in 2024 in Pyeongchang. Made her World Cup debut months later on the same track in November 2024. And her World Cup best of her 5 previous appearances, 27th place in Lillehammer. So right now, potentially, not only on for her first second heat. Look at the speed on the left, 11th best speed. If that's right, she is going to climb the order. She's ahead of Mystique Ro. She's ahead of Julia Erlacher. 17th best speed is still enough to get it done. She's not going to challenge the leader. Up to 23rd on the splits, up to 20th on the splits. Nanna Johansson across the line. She will get a second heat. Surely. 17th up to 15th position. What a first run. Well, I don't know where her brother Rasmus is. I can't see him from my window, but somewhere he will be very, very happy with that. Off a 5:22 start, exactly the same as Julia Simchen. She's come down 7/10 faster than the Swiss slider. That's a big run from Nanna Johansson, the 19-year-old from Denmark. And it was not perfect, but it was decent enough, wasn't it? And the lower part of the track really excellent. Now, the Danes have very good coaching from that lot, the guys in the yellow jackets. And they have good kit as well. Now, former Latvian, now Estonian slider, Darta Zunte, 5th in the Youth Olympic Games in 2016. It's her birthday today, and she pops the groove. That's not a birthday present. Pista Olimpico Eugenio Monti, what are you doing to her? Turns 25 today, and that might be the worst start of her career since she started sliding. 14th World Cup race, the sled pops out of the groove. What a disappointment for Darta Zunte. And with all of that scrambling at the start, it's leaving her on the back foot. The start itself wasn't empirically that bad at all, 5:08. Considering Nanna Johansson just started 5:22 and ended up wherever she ended up. Darta Zunte, a much quicker start, but an absolute catastrophe. The Swiss helping her out. Actually, the Latvians have been helping her out as well. She is a Latvian, she slides for Estonia, but began her World Cup career for Latvia. Just a nightmare. What a nightmare. Well, Darta, happy birthday anyway. Over the crest as she loads, boom, out of the groove, and now her mind is racing. How do I get through that gap that's barely wide enough for a bobsled to get through? She steers it through. I mean, that's commendable that she got it through there without a hit. Not a birthday morning, afternoon to remember. What about Kellie Delka from Puerto Rico then? 30th of our 33 starters, her 28th World Cup race. 11th place in Lake Placid in March 2024, her best World Cup result. Home ice, she started in the American program. It was only slid in World Cup for Puerto Rico. Ooh, a little hard off Primo Labyrinthi, and she had to scramble to keep it off the wall the second time. 5:18 the start. If she can keep it clean from here on down, 19th best speed, she might be able to claw her way into the race at the expense of Julia Erlacher. Mystique Ro's already been bumped out by Nanna Johansson. Still 27th on the splits, and the speed isn't there. She's not going to overhaul them on the uphill with lower speed. Across the line, 59.93. And like so many athletes from tiny nations, working with other athletes, other coaches to try and improve her sliding lot. And of course, spending lots and lots of time during the summer trying to improve her funding as well. Not part of a big state-funded operation, like so many young racing drivers. So in skeleton and bobsleigh, if you don't go out and find the money, you don't race. And again, with the runner in that left-hand groove, she just about got away with that. Not a bad-looking run from Kellie Delka, but no second heat for the Puerto Rican. 3 to go then, and our debutante in the women's field, Marta Andzane from Latvia. 17 years old, the youngest athlete in the field. Started in 2021, a former Nordic skier. She was entered for the race in Sigulda last December, but didn't start. 5th in the Youth Olympics in Beijing 2024. So she has got experience of multi-heat races. 25th at the start, too many hits with the wall though. 26 split out to 27th. Slightly better speed than the last couple of sleds. liking her form. She's definitely keeping her calm on the ice. Nice looking bottom part of the track. And that's probably the curse of the commentator, isn't it? Not too bad out of Tofana. Through Ampezzo, climbing still towards Arrivo and across the line, 59.66. So she finishes 27th with 2 to go. She will be in the top 30, but not quite enough for a second heat. She needed another, actually ideally she needed another 4 tenths. 3600s would have got her in. Easy to say, very hard to find, and criminally easy to give away on this track. So easy to give the speed away. You just tap the wall out of Verzi, the second turn, and then very, very high in Primo Labyrinti. Not as high of some of our Italian forerunners of the races we've seen up in the woodwork there in monobobs and in bobsleighs. 2 to go. Penultimate slider for Belgium, Elena Pelckmans. 16th World Cup race for Elena. Made her debut in Altenburg in January 2023. Her World Cup best results in her previous 15 races, 3 21st place finishes. So she is capable of making the second heat. 5:20 start, 28th best start. She's going to have to outdrive that. Look on the left, speed, top 20 speed. So she might have the potential. And if she can keep it neat and tidy down the bottom, 28th on the splits, hovering just a little below the waterline. I don't think she's going to pop up. No, the speed's gone. Not going to pop up into the top 25. Belgium's Colin Freeling did not get a second heat, and compatriot Elena Pelckmans does not either. 59.90. So 300's quicker than Kellie Delka, and 100th quicker than Darta Zunte. 30th place with 1 to go for Elena Pelckmans. Kristen Bromley going down to help with the sled. Careful there, Dr. Ice. He's got the spikes on, that's fine. Not a bad exit from Primo Labyrinti. Kept it relatively straight. And here as well, we've seen so many skids. Not bad looking stuff. All right. Final slider of our first heat. Katharina Eigenmann for Liechtenstein. So 40th in last year's World Cup rankings. 2020 Youth Olympian in St. Moritz. Raced in the World Championships in St. Moritz and in Winterberg. Didn't go to Lake Placid last year. World Cup best results so far was in St. Moritz in 2024. 27th place. She's only her 12th World Cup start. Whoa, a little bit of paddling there, and she still had the tap. So an uncomfortable labyrinth. 33rd slider in the field. And again, like so many sliders from smaller nations, Liechtenstein, not with a massive funding program or a sea of coaches or even lots of teammates to talk it over with and self-analyze. It's a small army for the big nations. It's a very small group for the smaller nations. 60.30 is the slide for Katharina Eigenmann. So she rounds out our first heat. The 23-year-old finishes what will be, for now, her final run down the Pista Olimpica Eugenio Monti. So this 2026 Winter Olympic track has certainly proved that the designers and the builders have come up with a really great facility. It's a great looking place in a great venue, right in the heart of the Alps, only 2 hours from Innsbruck, 4 hours from Munich, so what, kind of 3 hours from Berchtesgaden maybe, and not too far from St. Moritz. So right in the heart of traditional sliding territory and keeping the flame alive here in Cortina. And at the end of our heat, 25 go through, the last of whom on ice, as they go in reverse order in heat 2, will be Jackie Pfeifer. So Jacka has the lead, slender though it is, over the Olympic champion Hannah Neise, with Kim Marmans in third. Tabby Stoecker a little bit in no man's land, ahead of Janine Flock, Hallie Clarke, Amelia Coltman. Then a little gap back as well to Susanne Kreher, Anna Fernstedt, who's tied with Kimberly Boss, and just ahead of Shaldan and Freya Tarbit, who are tied together. Nothing between Corinna Leipold and Alessandra Fumagalli, who's the top Italian. And in 25th place, Julia Erlacher gets a second heat. Mystique Ro does not, and who had that on their bingo card? It wasn't the tidiest run from the American. So from Mystique Ro in 26th on down to Katrina Eigenmann, they will be watching the second heat from trackside. And you can join them and us for that as we return at 3 o'clock local. That is 1500 local, 1400 GMT. And that is 1100 Eastern. We'll see you then. Till then, from everybody here in Cortina, ciao, arrivederci.